Charles Manson is coming back in a big way.
He's been away too long.
Yeah, that's all we need, more Manson.
They've yet to make a definitive Manson movie, though. I was just thinking about that, though. What a just a seismic shift in the culture that happened that week, because here you have Woodstock. That was I forget the order in which it happened, but Woodstock and the Manson murders happened a week apart. And and one kind of represents the pinnacle of the hippie love movement, and the other represents the death of it. All in the course of a week. But Manson, I know that Rob Zombie and Bret Easton Ellis talked about writing a Manson movie, or doing a movie together about Manson. And then David Duchovny has a series where he investigates the Manson murders back in that time in the 60s. But the bad news about that is it's on CBS. And then I read an interesting tidbit, because I was leafing through Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, and I read that the 76 TV version of Helter Skelter, they approached Martin Scorsese to play Manson in that movie.
Yes. I knew that somehow. I don't know how I knew that, but he
turned it down,
crazy.
and so he turned it down, but he received death threats from the Manson family after he was
Oh, man. Wow. Well, I wonder if Steve Railsback got death threats, too.
Yeah,
I don't know. Now, Jeremy Davies was an awesome Manson. Jeremy Davies, had Manson.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, yeah.
He did a great Manson, that's for sure. I agree.
Do we really need, though, do we need it? It seems like Manson is so ingrained, though. Do we really need it?
I think a story about the young Manson would be interesting, like when he was 14, 15 on the road.
That I could see.
Well, it can be based on that book that came out of Manson last year. That was kind of shocking for a lot of people because it demystified a lot of untruths that he's told about himself over the years.
Right.
That he actually had a very loving mother that worried a lot about him. Yes, she had some trouble with the law, but she was trying to do her best by him. And that's he's such, for better or worse, he's such a part of the culture. I mean, he is to America what a tyrant in world history would be, in a way. He's achieved that level of infamy. And we have great movies about those figures. So I'm not opposed to a movie about Manson.
It's not that I'm opposed. I just think he's how should I say it? He haunts the landscape, as it were. He haunts the pop culture landscape to this day. If it was done, I mean, I like Dean's idea. A young Charles. That would be very interesting, as they did it many years ago with Hitler.
Yeah, don't do that part. You don't even have to show the part. I don't think you'd have to show much of the part where all the Tate LaBianca murders happen and so forth. You just take that as a sort of a given, from the beginning, and then you just go back and take a look at the road that led him to that. I think would be a much more interesting story than just retelling the stuff that we've already seen.
Yeah, because, otherwise, or you do something like, that one that came out with Val Kilmer about John Holmes that they made after everything, in his last days, which was just very uneventful. I think the young man...
that's a decent movie, though, and he played a good John Holmes, too. But, because I've been thinking a lot about my trip to L.A. and how beautiful Laurel Canyon was. How important it is to how important it is to the culture of music. I mean, all the influential music started there in the 60s and 70s, but how incredibly violent its history is. I mean, the two worst murders that the LAPD, the two most gruesome, with Tate LaBianca and the Wonderland massacre, it happened up there. And there's a lot of, sick crap that's happened up there. And I think to myself, why is that? And I'm thinking, well, all of these people go to L.A., it's like the dream factory. And a lot of these people don't have a place anywhere else in society. So when you get all those people together in that particular environment of those decades, bad shit's going to go down.
And plus, everybody's trying to get famous. I mean, there was Manson; he was trying to get famous, and everybody's
and Manson was intricately involved. And all of those guys, not just Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. I mean, Neil Young said Manson was a great poet and he should be big. I mean, he knew all of them.
I'd like to see the scene of Charles Manson going into like in the Manson movie that gets made. Okay, so anybody listening who's going to make the Manson movie, you have to have the scene where he goes in and tries out to be one of the monkeys. You have to have that scene.
Oh, I think that you would definitely need that.
You
I
have
think
to
that
have
explains a lot. I mean, what you're actually. I mean, what
you know what?
saying?
Like you could do what? Here's what you could do. Here's even a more specific idea on how to do the Manson movie. Do it just from the basis of him trying to be a music star, like Charles Manson trying to be a music star. Like just do that. Just do that stuff with Dennis Wilson and all that stuff, and him trying to break in and to the music business, and doing all the records with the family and so forth, and just do that. That would be interesting. The guy wrote some interesting songs.
I think the family members. I think that's what would keep this from happening, because I mean they don't want a movie to focus on Manson and not on Sharon Tate. I mean the family's been very vigilant in keeping the memory of Sharon Tate alive, like the memory of Sharon when she was alive. And then you have the actual musicians that are still living that associated with Manson that don't want to be associated in any way with that memory of that man,
I mean, you could always do it where you just change the names of everybody, that's done sometimes. So
that is done, but
they did with Bogdanovich in Star 80,
or like they did with John Huston in White Hunter Black Heart, the Clint Eastwood movie or whatever. So it's just like, it's obvious who these people are, but they just don't have the same names. Do it like that.